Hey there, guys. This is Blue. Just have a quick update today. I have hardly played the game at all in recent months, just logged in on occasion. And when I checked in today, I did notice that both arenas and alliance missions are not available. I am recording this in the hours leading up to AM starting, and as you can see, there is no timer. There is no countdown. And at the same time, arenas are unplayable. Now, we have temporarily had game modes unavailable before. That's not entirely new, but generally speaking, that was rectified pretty quickly, generally fixed within a matter of hours. And it is very unusual to have multiple game modes unavailable at the same time. And it is also curious because it is these two game modes specifically, because AMs and arenas run as a competitive loop, right? So you have players playing together as teams, so you have to be able to synchronize players. They have to calculate rewards, they have to distribute rewards, they have to do leaderboards, they have to reset things every week, and then they have to run it again next week and the week after that on a loop. Whereas with something like the story, you're running through that alone, you go through it, you get your rewards one time, and you're done. So with something like AMs, that requires much more active server maintenance. It is not passive, which means higher costs, more personnel, etc. And so with this could all be a glitch. It could be bugs, and I do know that some players have had issues getting into AMs in recent weeks, but I don't think that's what's going on. I think it is much more likely that one of two things is happening. They could be either quietly decommissioning certain game modes like AMs in order to save costs, thereby transitioning the game to a much more bare bones, minimalistic state in which the game is technically alive, but it's on life support, and game modes like AMs will no longer be available, which would effectively kill what's left of the game anyway, or they may be preparing to sunset the game and let it go. And that, at this point, is what I think they should do. Just let the game die, let it rest in peace, because the thing is, the Netflix version was launched May of 2023. The story, which was the vast majority of the content we got, wrapped up in early 2024, okay? We have received no new content at all since then. No updates, no characters, no game modes, nothing, for 2 full years at this point. So that is very indicative of the fact that they have no interest in investing in this game ever again. And they've done this with a lot of games. They acquire a game, they pump it full of content at first, then it sits idle for a long time, and then it goes away. So I would not be surprised at all if in the coming weeks or months, the game is quietly removed from their catalog, and if they say anything about it, they say so after the fact. That's just how they operate. That's where we are. And the other really important component of this is the fact that the player base has completely collapsed. It was already smaller than in the Kabam days, right? The game was already quite old at that point. And of course, Netflix is a paywall. You had to have a Netflix subscription. And so even starting with that already smaller player base that we had when the Netflix version was released a couple years ago, that player base is a fraction of what it was a couple years ago because pretty much everyone's left, including myself. And so at this point, my assumption would be that the number of active players who are logging in every day, who are doing AMs every weekend, is in the hundreds at this point, not thousands. And so it's really a bit of an insult and really just a waste of resources to keep a game like this going with no investment, no care, nothing at all. And so, like I said, this could just be a glitch, and maybe the game will just keep running like this for another year or two before it eventually goes away. But in my view, it is very likely that the game's days are numbered, and it's probably going to go away sooner rather than later. Hopefully, Netflix will actually say something about it, but I doubt we can even expect that. So that's where we are, guys. I hope all of you are well, and we'll be in touch again at some point down the road. Take care.